Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I'm your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
I'm your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your
okay?
Yeah.
What just happened? Noel just dried up.
It's Noel's angry sailor voice. Jack Pappy from the live-action Popeye movie. And I'm your Cobra
Joe
intern,
connection, right?
who secretly was replaced by a photo of Yukon Cornelius, codename Legion Cub.
We are here live on the Needless Things YouTube channel, where you can catch us mostly on alternating Mondays. But before we get into all that business, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. The audio version of this episode will be available this Friday, wherever that is. Click that follow button, subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and be sure you're sharing this show, whether it's the YouTube version, the audio version, or just share our Instagram or something. Anything that puts us in front of more people's eyes, that is the best way to help us grow. Follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast. And while you're there, get yourself some merch. Go to those pinned stories. We've got shirts, cell phone covers, hats, shorts. There's something new that I noticed while I was uploading what we're going to be talking about next. There's all kinds of crazy stuff available there. So go take a look. There's tons of sales going on here at the end of the year. So wait for a good sale and get yourself some merch. But you only have through the end of Christmas Day to get yourself the Audible Interlude Saves Christmas t-shirt. This is a high quality design by yours truly, featuring the Audible Interlude team teaming up with Santa to save Christmas. That is in the pinned stories at Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, or if you are in the Audible Army Facebook group, then you can click the link there and get yourself a t-shirt. I'm a big fan of this one. It's available only in select colors because I wanted to make sure it was seasonally appropriate. And as I said, available through Christmas Day, midnight, after Christmas, this will come down. So, and if you order it now, it should arrive before Christmas. TeePublic, if you'll notice, I'm going to put over our pal Brett White.
Yeah, I want to real quick.
I picked up, look at that. Robo Joe on a shirt. I am living a dream right now. I bought this and one other Brett White shirt that I will be wearing in the future. Everybody check out popheist.com and everybody appreciate Brett White and his contributions to the G.I. Joe fandom. I'm thrilled to finally have my guy on a shirt. But yeah, also go grab that Audible Interlude Saves Christmas shirt. Our next episode right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel, December 22nd, just a few. Oh, okay. Wait, throw up Yorktown Joe. Just as explanation. Just as explanation for anybody who hasn't seen this yet. So we are now broadcasting in 2 different aspect ratios on YouTube. If you are watching vertical tiny thumbnail version, leave that, and you don't want that one, leave that and go to the other stream, and that's the normal 16:9 aspect ratio. But it gets us shockingly better numbers to broadcast both aspect ratios here. I don't know what that's all about, but I don't understand anything about social media or technology. What I do understand is December 22nd, as Noel said. Noel, what is the occasion there?
It's Festivus Eve.
Festivus Eve. Maybe we'll air grievances. Not that I don't do that plenty anyway. If you listen to last week's episode, you heard some grievances. But yeah, December 22nd, just a few days before Christmas. We'll be having some fun here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, share, and I will mention. Okay, I got some stuff. I got some stuff to talk about. I got wee little mainframe that people are very upset that he's short. Spoiler alert for my review, which goes up tomorrow. I couldn't care less. I never mainframe is not a character who had any kind of fixed height in
He's a
my head.
computer guy. It makes sense that he's a little guy.
I
Yeah,
thought we all love the short king now. He
you're right.
says as someone that's only 5'6".
Yeah, I really dig this figure. So I got mainframe review is coming tomorrow.
I'm still more bothered that Leatherneck is as small as he is, and nobody complained about that.
No, people definitely you're just not in the right places, Noel. People were definitely complaining about that. Wetsuit, who overall I like. I got a couple little issues with him, one of which is unless I'm missing something, and tell me in the chat or give us some feedback if I am, he can't really hold this, which seems like a little bit of a flaw to me. And for anybody listening, I'm talking about his little underwater propulsion unit. It's too big for his hand.
Yeah, it's very disappointing because I heated up his hand so that I could get it around it, but then I guess
it
the
just comes
plastic
off
memory is
eventually.
still as it cooled off, it still just shrank back, and I'm like, okay, well, who needs a water jetpack?
Put it in his hand while it's still hot, and then it'll shrink back around it.
And no, it's because it doesn't go around it. The hand grip is too
barely,
wide.
Yeah,
I have not opened mine yet.
Yeah, it wasn't designed very well.
Hold on here. Friend of the pod, Wreckship 85 says same. Can't get him to hold it either. Just stays plugged into his propulsion pack,
which also doesn't work particularly well.
I don't think I have even tried that yet. So
I had to heat it up for a full minute before I could get it to plug in. Lately there have been. Overall, we're getting some great classified figures, but there have been some compatibility issues with some of the accessories and stuff that have been.
I'm wondering too if while they've been apparently shifting some production locations around, if some things are being built in different factories, or the machines are not calibrated the way they're supposed to at this point.
I don't know, but I was ready to accept this new design for that unit. Like I was like, okay, it's different, but you know what? It's pretty cool. But then he couldn't hold it. And I was like, nope, I'm just mad about it all across the board. And then finally, my Thursday reviews for this week will be some Shadow Troopers from Lady J Toys. I really like these guys. I will give everybody a heads up. They stand okay at best. And they do not fit. Well, the red one seems to stand better than the gold one. I don't know. They're I'll just say this. They're ones that you kind of have to fiddle around with a little more than usual to get them to stand up, and they don't fit on Small Joe's stands. The peg holes in their feet are too small for Small Joe's stands. So I've got to figure out what kind of stands to use with these. Because as much as I don't like stands, you kind of have to use them for little guys.
Wonder if they fit on these, which are the ones I got, the big Small Joe stands.
You can get 4 of them on that thing.
Yeah, you could.
So yeah, I'll be interested to try and find some stands for those, and I'll keep everybody updated. But that's the reviews coming this week on the Needless Things YouTube channel.
You will keep everybody posted. That was the pun.
Well done. Last week's episode, we're back to segments. Kristian got to do his con exclusive dream set. We also did a couple segments about Bazooka. Had a lot of fun with that. So go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. And I mentioned December 22nd, an Audible Christmas will be happening. You see the banner on the screen. If you're watching us live, support us in the super chat. Anything that comes in, whether it's in the super chat or any other way, all goes back into production, hosting, and we are switching. I actually forgot to put this in my notes, so I'm glad this came up. We're switching hosting for the audio version of the podcast. I am moving away from Spotify for many reasons that many people may or may not be aware of, but I find Spotify to be problematic. So we're moving our hosting away from that. And I guess just to give a little backstory, I signed up for something called Anchor because it was free hosting. They had really great tools to use. And when we started this show, I didn't know if it was going to go anywhere. So I really didn't want to, because Needless Things is hosted on Podbean, which is where the first couple episodes of Audible Interlude, like our test episodes, I guess, went up as part of that feed. But we had to have a separate feed for a separate show, especially once I decided this was the main show. So I moved away from Podbean and tried out Anchor, and it was great for a while until Spotify bought it. And that's when I started to have a couple of minor problems, but now Spotify's problems are too big to ignore. So you will still be available on Spotify, but our hosting will be different. So really, you shouldn't see much difference in it. But I did get the approval for the transfer earlier today, so that'll be happening very soon. And I do recommend, if you can find a service other than Spotify to use to listen to your podcasts or your music, do it.
Brian Hoffman figured out why.
Exactly. Brian Hoffman says Spotify is the reason the Small Joe stands do not fit the Shadow Troopers.
Secrets out.
And I'm also going to shout out our good buddy, Reverend Scott Stripling, for saying we're simply having an audible Christmas
time. Boy, if you want to hear some of the worst singing you've ever heard in your life, check out Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. All right. So anyway, we appreciate everything that you do. But this will, for us, this will no longer, the audio version of this will no longer be free to host. I will be paying for the service. So support us in the super chat. And now, I can't believe it's already time for some news. All right. What do we got here? We are going to start off, or actually, before we get to the news, I have no follow-up other than just talking about stuff that we ordered coming in. Oh, I guess this is technically follow-up. So I've got this big giant box of Super 7 Reaction Plus figures. I'm caught back up thanks to the sale, but I talked about that, I think, last week. So we already knew that was happening.
Yep. I'm just missing that Cobra Commander, that Python Patrol Cobra Commander that I have yet to find. I found Duke and Python Serpentor in stores.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, have you seen that Python Patrol Cobra Commander? I am like 90% positive I ordered mine through the Target app because I don't remember ever seeing it in stores at all. And it seems like that one's kind of elusive. I guess it's that Python camouflage.
I guess so. Well, and it's also reselling for more on eBay right now. It's still going for like $40, whereas the other ones are hovering around 30.
Maybe they really just haven't hit stores yet. Like maybe there was a weird shipping situation where Serpentor hit first, even though Cobra Commander was supposed to be first. We've seen stuff like that before.
But I'll do something like I bought a Python Serpentor at Retro Toy Con for regular price, $25, and then I walked into a Target and there were like 15 of them, and they're cheaper there. They're $20 at the Target that I went to.
Yeah.
Well, Brett it's funny. He found Serpentor, has never seen Cobra Commander, and I rarely see Super 7 at Target, period. And I wanted to touch on this real quick because around here in Orlando, at least I would see pegs for the Super 7, Reaction Plus stuff. And then the Duke wave kind of floated around for a bit. I have not seen any of the recent stuff, and my Target, when they redid the shelves for the holiday season, they don't even have a peg for the Reaction. Now, that could just mean that they are putting them in the collectibles area, because at least the main Target I go to, that collectibles area it's just pegs. There's no price stickers. There's no rhyme or reason. It's NECA mixed in with Funko Pops. It's kind of a mess. But I'm kind of bummed that I'm not seeing the Reaction Plus stuff on the shelves
That's-
like I was.
It's
I
the
don't see a
opposite
lot.
around me, because stores that have not had the Reaction Plus in the last couple of weeks, I've started to see it showing up like 2 pegs full
wow.
most of the time. Matter of fact, I saw the was it Duke Snake Eyes Royal Guard? Was that a wave? Or
Yeah.
was it? No, it was
No,
the
Duke was with I can never
whatever.
remember.
Duke
the
was
diner.
was it the first wave with Raymar and
Who was
Fluffy
the
and
Royal
Clever
Guard?
Girl?
Who was the
That
Royal
was
Guard with?
One of the Snake
Jinx?
Eyes.
And
Yeah,
Wild
Jinx.
Bill.
And was it? I don't know. I saw Jinx and Pythona the other day
Jinx
in the store.
Jinx, Falcon, Royal Guard, and another one. But anyway, they had Jinx and Falcon. They didn't have any Royal Guards, and I had not seen that wave in a store before. So I mean, I think stuff's just hitting a little weird. So be patient.
I did see the Steeler and
Oh yeah, I saw that in the store.
and Short Fuse
I saw a bunch of
2-pack,
those.
which I haven't seen a regular classified figure on the shelves in Target, and I don't know how long.
Everyone I go to now has Desert Scorpion, lots of him.
Yeah.
Lots of the divers 2-pack. Yeah, and usually the police officer.
Oh,
once those divers go down to like $25, I'll grab that. Which I know. I hate talking like that, but that's the world we're in now. All right. So we got some news. First, we've got an update from our pals at Call Sign Longbow, the Kickstarter that, it's like all of them. It just takes time. So this is a production update with new samples. They had a meeting with their factory project manager, Dave Proctor, last week. He shared updates on the current batch of figures. This is Lancer we're looking at right now. Lancer has seen some good progress. The image shows a new sample on the left and an old sample on the right. This new figure can now close its legs and sit properly. You can also see some of the gap issues in the torsos and legs have been corrected. Let's see. New and previous Lancer sample images courtesy of Dave Proctor. I guess I don't need to read that part. In addition to the updated articulation corrections, some of the colors on Lancer have also been corrected. In this image, you can see a more traditional vintage green in the newest sample, which is in the front. His skin tone also has been corrected from the sunburnt samples they got earlier this year. So what we're looking at here, if you're listening, you should check out the visuals on the Needless Things YouTube channel. But what we're looking at here are 3 different versions of Lancer, which I think, Kristian, you're the one that pointed out the likeness on him.
Yeah, it's totally Dennis Quaid, the action figure.
Yeah, which I am 100% okay with.
Sure.
And it's funny. None of these 3 would look wrong to me, but seeing them together, the differences between them are so striking.
Yeah, I like that lighter green color because the contrast is so much better with the.
Yeah, seeing them side by side like this, the one in the front is clearly the best one, but none of them are bad. And I'm so curious, except for the back one is clearly an earlier one because you can see it's got the skin tone up in the shoulder joint. So similar to those final release wrestling figures we were talking about. Oops. But they all look great. And anytime I see something like this, I think about who's keeping all these prototypes? How cool is that?
Oh, they eventually make it onto eBay from these companies.
Sure. But so Lancer is looking great. Next up, we've got some shots of I think our show favorite, the Krasny Ninja. They get to see similar updates to that one. This figure has improved movement and can close his legs and sit better as well. And just look at the gold on this. That is a beautiful figure. For anybody that doesn't know, this is a Soviet Ninja, which was a mind-blowingly obvious concept that we just hadn't seen before. There's still some deco corrections for these 2. For example, the eyes are too thin right now. So these are still works in progress. They've approved the updated waist and leg joints on these two, so all their mold functions are set, and they can continue to move forward towards production. You can see here just a shot of the functionality of the joints. Some improvements have been made on the Uptown Volk Spetsnaz Outlaw waist and legs. They can now close their legs. They will need a little more time with the model shop before moving to fix gaps and make the figure set up properly. And that is an Uptown Engineering sample. And then finally, a packaging update. Last month, they shared a packaging proof card for Outlaw. These proof cards are produced for approval before full production begins. They'll share these for all the figures over the coming months. This is a Volk proof card. So looking good. I mean, that familiar, design.
Rexship85 chiming in with close its legs and sit properly. Sounds like Lancer is in a princess academy or something.
Hey, don't give away my con exclusive set. Sorry, what were you, Kristian?
I was just going to say good manners are never out of fashion, even for the military.
So that's our independent toy company news. And I got to say, keep supporting these independent toy companies. Operation Recall, their product is in. Well, their first shipment of product is in. They are rightfully fulfilling all-in backers first, which does sting a little bit because I'm not an all-in backer. I did some picking and choosing with those. But that's what they should be doing. Obviously, you support your biggest supporters first. So those all-in backers probably going to get their product before the end of the year. Then January and February, they'll have the second shipments coming in by sea. So by February-ish, everybody should have their initial orders fulfilled. And like I said, that's the right way to do it as far as I'm concerned. And we'll have updates from everybody else as they're available. So we got a little news from CCXP Brazil, which Hasbro had some presentations at that. And of course, the first big thing we're going to talk about that we've been talking about for a couple of months now, the Arctic Hiss. We talked about this before. I love it. I think it is awesome. I would love to have it, but it is simply not a practical purchase for me to make. So I have not gone in on this one. Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat go in on this? I know you guys are with me, right? Kristian, Noel. It's just not. It's awesome.
Yeah,
but it's just not practical.
Yeah, nowhere to put it, and just not something I need to spend another couple $100 on.
Hey, Matt Rich 3 with the super chat.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. As I said, everything goes back into hosting, production. It all goes back into the show. We really appreciate it.
And Mini Pete is chiming in with, heck yeah, I got one.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little jealous because unlike the Rattler, I can see once this thing starts shipping, me feeling like, oh man, I wish I'd gotten that thing. As a matter of fact, just saying that is giving me a little FOMO, but I'm trying to be responsible.
And Kevin Riddle also says that he got one, and I'll have a little bit of FOMO, I think, when I see it at shows, but then I'm also going to see how big it is, and that FOMO is only going to last for half a second. Simply because of space.
Hoffman, get out of here with that logic. I don't need that kind of thinking in my life. throw Hoffman's comment up there.
The you can always cancel it.
Yeah, I don't need to be thinking about that.
And White Vegeta jumping in with, I am in for 2, but at 150, I would have been down for 5. And we were kind of commenting about that. At least my humble opinion, it's not someone who knows much about finance. At the $199 price tag, I can't help but to think if we weren't in the current climate that we are with tariffs, this would have been 150. And
I think that's
space
accurate.
still would have been an issue for me, but I would have had stronger FOMO.
Well, and as we all know, White Mike does live in an airplane hangar, so room is not a consideration for him. All right, let's see. What else did we get out of Brazil? Not Special Mission Brazil announcement, considering we've got, I think, all of the parts now. But that was disappointing to me. But we did get this, which is a skid that I believe is from the Chameleon. I mean, it looks almost exactly like the Chameleon's front skid. No, rear skid. Sorry, rear skid. Although it's angle, well, it doesn't matter. I believe this to be from the Chameleon. Some people said Snowcat, but it really doesn't look like the Snowcat skids.
I mean,
but that doesn't mean it's not. What's that, Noel?
You mean the Polar Battle Bear?
Yeah. No, actually, I don't. I don't. I mean the wolf.
Oh, the wolf. Okay. I mean, it would make sense because we are getting a Snowcat. You might want something to oppose your Snowcat other than an Arctic Hiss.
I'm pretty sure their thought is Arctic Hiss opposes the Snowcat. But this doesn't look like the wolf's skis. Although we do have some wishful thinking in the chat that's not based at all on partiality.
And I've seen the comment about the wolf and the polar cat. Polar battle bear online quite a bit, and I wish I had not moved it. But in my photography room is where I have that model kit of the Chameleon that I got, and I compared, and that is Hasbro's probably going to prove me wrong now, but that is the Chameleon skiff.
It's actually, what we're not realizing is this is a hugely blown up version, and this is Robo Joe's little tiny snow ski that goes on his feet.
I'm just thinking this is
we're
how
getting
Arctic
Robo Joe incoming.
We get Ninja Force Zartan coming with the Chameleon, since they've already released regular Zartan.
They have announced. Didn't they do a Ninja Force Zartan as a name only reveal?
Yeah, he was a name only reveal.
Oh, they did. That's right. That's right.
But to be honest, and this may be a controversial take, I still think they could take another shot at an OG Zartan. I think there's plenty of room to improve on the classified design. Because that Zartan that we have, the design of it is from early days of classified, when they still hadn't quite figured out what they were going to take the most inspiration from. And I think we could get a very satisfying classified upgrade of the original Zartan look. Well, that's different.
Why Mike Vegeta also jumping in with, I'm guessing this is going to come with Zanya, because when they announced her, they did say she had more to come with her that will be revealed later.
Interesting.
Mysterious.
And this one's tough because I would love to have a Chameleon to go with all the Dreadnoks. Like, I don't see us getting motorcycles because that's a little too generic, but it would be cool to have Chameleons for all of them, because that happened in the cartoon frequently, that they were all on Chameleons, or at least, well, I say frequently, at least once that I can for sure think of.
And Reverend Scott jumping in, not Tom Henry, but Reverend Scott saying it's for the Fang. I'm more for that.
So whatever the case, curious to see what this turns out to be. Also, I'm hoping this is not the final color for it.
No, they usually do that same gray, because they did it for the polar bear foot too. It's just this. It's just a.
Was that gray also?
Yeah.
Next up, we got a name reveal for Deep Six. This was the art that was shown, the original dive suit. And my little wish for this is that Deep Six's dive suit is the size of the snake, just to upset all the people who are like, that dive suit is stupid. He should be in just a sweater or regular torpedo gear or whatever. I see this comment so much. And I say, plus this thing up, make it a huge dive suit.
I want it to be Deep Six in the sweater, and this is just, and you have like the original dive suit that just like clamps on like a Transformers Pretender.
Yeah. Yeah, but I want it to be as big as the snake. But yeah, even in this image, you can see he's got his sweater on underneath. But yeah, we've talked about this since the show started, is being curious as to how they would execute this. And while I don't actually want it to be as big as a snake, I would thoroughly enjoy the reaction if it is. And guys, that's it.
Well, so I have something that sort of follow up, not really news, but we've seen it in the chat a few times about where we are sort of in the Skybound universe. So I made a quickie little catch up slideshow here of Joe characters that have been appearing in the other Skybound books.
Oh, nice.
So I want to take a quick moment just to catch the Audible Army up for where Joe is outside of the main G.I. Joe title. All right. So mostly, I know way back when Pythona left Earth to join the Void Rivals book, we had mentioned about doing a monthly follow-up. I can't really say that there's been enough for a monthly follow-up. So here we go. Now I get to get you caught up. So obviously they take off into space. What we learn in the process is not only is the Cobra Law Royal Guard armor alive, but there is this mythology that armor is also what keeps them alive. It is such a symbiotic relationship that if the armor dies or they are without it, that you are as good as dead. And what I loved about this part besides that is just how cold Pythona is, because she pretty much is because one of the Royal Guard got attacked and their armor died. And the other Cobra Law Guard are like, oh, we have to take them with us and save them. And she's like, no, they're as good as dead anyway. They're dead weight. They're just going to slow us down. So we're going to keep going. So this guard gets left behind to just die a lonely death. Terrible. So as they have continued through the universe, they have had exposure to Energon. Obviously, they have run across, other Transformers, other alien races, and we have started to see the effect that has on their organic armor. This is also where you'll see some of the influences with that classified Royal Guard coming in. So one of the other main Guard characters that probably gets as much story arc as Pythona, her armor has started mutating and kind of taking a life of its own. And Pythona is of the mentality of kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. It is not natural anymore. But because you have this symbiotic relationship, what does that mean for this other guard? And where are we going with this story, basically?
I'd just like to let the Audible Army know Kristian did not notify us that this was going to be a bunch of spoilers either.
Oh, sorry. Spoilers for comics that are over a year old.
We're catching. This isn't over a year. What you're telling us right now is not over a year old because
Oh
I'm caught
yeah,
up to Void Rivals.
this is like issue 16, 17 of Void Rivals.
That's
I'm
not
going.
a year ago.
Oh man, it feels like it. It's all this previous year, I guess. So they continue their trek through the universe, and we end up with a little catch up on the planet Junkion, where we just so happen somehow or other that Cobra Law Royal Guard that was left to die has ended up on Junkion and met up with Rekgar, who is offering to rebuild his armor. And as the guard points out, it's not organic, but then again, what does that mean anymore? Because obviously now we know Royal Guard can survive without their biomechanical armor. And I like the thought of them turning him into some kind of motorcycle monstrosity like Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the Dream Baby. And eventually Pythona ends up on Quintesson. And who does she run into but everyone's favorite Transformer survivalist, but Wheelie. And much like the Baroness, Pythona is really good at getting information out of people. And I will say, this is the one aspect of the story that kind of let me down. I feel like all of the Skybound books have been so good about building, and with this aspect, we get a tell don't show, because we literally have a panel of her like, tell me everything, and then the next panel is, so that's everything. Okay, now I got it. But yes, Wheelie is the Jar Jar Binks, unfortunately, of the Skybound universe, and has told Cobra Law basically everything they need to know about Energon, the Autobots, the Decepticons, the war, how to defeat them. So now she is thinking it's probably time to do something with this information. Just in time, I believe the previews for the upcoming biggest story in Void Rivals is going to be the war on Quintesson. So we shall see if Pythona stays to be a part of that. But yeah. And then over in Transformers, if you weren't keeping up with that, so going back, we have had multiple appearances by Doc. And Doc apparently, from what we have gathered, because again, they haven't shown us any of this, but Doc got assigned to this specific area where they were holding on to certain Autobot prisoner, because Doc has seen some stuff in wartime, and he is suffering from a severe case of PTSD, and like no longer has steady hands. So there we see that he has been assigned to guard Ultra Magnus, who Flag is feeling that whatever it takes to get information out of him, any type of torture, dismemberment, experimentation. And I love that panel of Ultra Magnus just begging, because you always think of him of like, this big tough Autobot, and the army has him pretty beaten. And Doc, we see going with that pacifist background, he's not cool with this, and Flag pretty much lets him know it's either this or we can find something else for you, and whatever else we find for you won't be as nice. So Flag very much in these earlier Transformer issues is anti-robot. Like, very, very much I want to take out all the Transformers I can. So in the newest issues of the mainline GI Joe title, where they keep talking about Chicago, I wanted to show you all. This is what was going on in Chicago. So the Decepticons staged a massive battle. You had both Onslaught and Devastator having a battle to see who could kill the most people and destroy the most. So Chicago is getting leveled. That's why when they say that they had sent Stalker and the crew to help with the cleanup in Chicago, this is what they were talking about. But obviously, the Autobots win, and Flag decides it's better to be on the winning side than it is the losing side. So his personality is done like this 180, where he wants to partner up with Optimus. And I love this little build up here because he's like, hey, I want to take you back to the pit and show you some things that might surprise you. And while I'm not going to show you that, dear listeners, I want to show you who they run into in the pit and is part of the U.S. military, Miles Mayhem. So we've seen Matt Tracker obviously in the mainline Joe title, and now we have Miles in the Transformers title, and all of this obviously is part of the build up to what has already been announced and previewed for post Dreadnought's War. But I'm gonna leave all that announcement stuff alone until we finish our reviews of the Dreadnought War. And that's that.
So I went and looked, and I'm way further behind in Void Rivals than I realized. That what you were talking about was December and January and February. That's that old. I can't believe it's been that long since I've checked back in. I basically got through the first 12 issues and have not gotten back to it since then, which is crazy to me. But it's been a year, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, and Void, of the 3 books, Void Rivals has been the one that has had some sporadic lateness, at least where I get my books. So that's kind of understandable. But folks, I cannot recommend the Skybound universe enough. Like I've said in our top 10 thankful things, you don't have to read all 3 of these books to understand what is going on. But if you do read all 3, you get all these little nuggets and characters from all the different properties kind of spread throughout. So it just makes for a more enriching experience.
Well, and as much as we love the Joe stuff that we've been reviewing, the Void Rivals comic was actually the one that kind of delighted me the most. I guess because the main story of it is something that's so new and different and fun, but that it's incorporating these elements we know. But like I said, there's only so much time, which will come back in our sound off segment as a recurring theme of there's only so much time.
Yes.
Well, cool. Well, we've got one more. First of all, thank you for that recap. It was very cool of you to put that together to get everybody kind of caught up or let everybody know, hey, we should check this stuff out. And I will say Void Rivals gets my highest recommendation. Transformers also gets a high recommendation, but, plan your time wisely. So we got one more little thing that I want to mention before we go, and that is his time is now. I do feel like we have to mention John Cena's last match is this Saturday night on Saturday night's main event. I think it's very cool that it's free, that you don't have to pay $30 to watch it.
Is that true? Because I'm pretty sure they only stream them on Peacock now. They don't air on
but
NBC.
you can get regular Peacock, like with ads and everything. I think it's free, isn't it?
I don't know.
I know
whatever.
I'm not paying for Peacock, but I know I can watch it.
I know I'm paying for Peacock until they finally move all the NXT pay-per-views off of it, and then I'll be done with it forever.
But at the very least, it's not $30 to watch the match. But yeah, I mein, look, John Cena is somebody who for a long time, I did not appreciate, I did not enjoy. I felt like he was ruining wrestling, and I haven't necessarily changed that opinion of that period of time, but I have come to respect, I guess, the hustle, loyalty, and respect. The fact that the guy has stuck by WWE for so long, the fact that he has, I would say, eclipsed Hulk Hogan as the best known wrestling name of all time. And certainly in ring, the number of legendary matches he has had, significant matches he has had, I don't think anybody can hold a candle to him.
Yeah, I would say that the "you can't see me" catchphrase is more famous than anything Hulk Hogan ever did at this point, because everybody makes I don't see anybody in this picture jokes on the internet now.
Right. So yeah, I mean, he has earned the title they've been using, greatest of all time, the last real champion, which is wild to me that WWE will actually say that, because to me that's a commentary on how meaningless the championships are now.
Especially after Roman Reigns held it for like 3 straight years.
Well, but see, to me, that means something.
Right. But I'm saying, like,
there's so many championships and so many people have held them that they're all less significant.
Yeah.
Nowhere Man-Child jumping in with O-ring John Cena figure would fit in as an honorary Joe standing alongside Sarge.
And that's exactly where I was headed. I don't see WWE ever losing the John Cena license, but potentially in the future. We've seen all kinds of collaborations out there, and I think John Cena would make a great Joe. We've talked about that before.
You got this Mattel, Hasbro synergy. Maybe they work something with WWE and do a little license crossover. Who knows?
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course, we have him sort of on the edge of our G.I. Joe universe, because he was in Bumblebee, essentially playing a G.I. Joe style character.
Right.
And he has had the "you can't see me" with the G.I. Joe font recently.
Oh, I mean, the shirt was, because it had the explosion and everything.
Yeah,
I mean, it
the
was
one he wore for Mania 2 years ago.
Didn't it have the file card on the back as well?
I think so. Yeah, it was just a straight up G.I. Joe.
It was all out, and I would even love it if they just did a classified figure of that, like of just John Cena, but with that shirt. Like they're cool possibilities. But regardless, I just felt he's such a big personality in general. From we don't know everything, but he also seems like a pretty stand-up good guy.
I'm sorry. I also have to jump in. Nowhere Man-Child again with, are those silver rivets painted, John? You can't see these.
Solid. Actually, how cool would that be? Like a San Diego Comic-Con set of an O-ring Cena, a modern Cena, and a classified Cena. Like, that would be a really cool So anyway, just wanted to salute this guy who has epitomized hard work, believing in yourself, respecting the business, respecting others, and just you can't even compare his place. You can't see him, but you can't even compare his place in the wrestling business to anybody else. So
and
thank you, John Cena.
And honestly, better actor at this point than The Rock. Sorry.
100%. Absolutely. Dude, okay, so I don't necessarily recommend the movie Trainwreck, but
I love Trainwreck.
Watch it for John Cena. He's great. He's hilarious. He can be serious. He can have emotion. He's great. But I'll tell you this, Noel, I think you and I are going to be in the same locale Saturday night, not watching John Cena's last match. Is that going to be, or maybe we can step away for a few minutes and just watch it on the phone?
I can watch it later. I don't think I'll be too bothered if I don't see it live.
I kind of want to see it live. We may have to work something out with the hosts. Everybody just shut up for 6 minutes, because it ain't going to be much longer than that.
I don't know. He and Gunther and Goldberg went like 20. So
is it Gunther? Is that it?
Yes. It was decided on Friday.
Okay, well, I don't pay to watch. Speaking of paying to watch things, I no longer watch SmackDown, so I wasn't sure. I saw some pictures earlier today when I was looking for this picture, but I didn't know. Well, that's the other problem, is what's real and what's not. For wrestling, that's been the case in forever, because people would do fan lineup things. So if you Googled like WrestleMania, the first 50 things you'd see would be some fans like dream match, not the actual card. But anyway, thank you, John Cena. We appreciate you. Let's see here. Oh my gosh, is it already time? It's not even 9 o'clock yet, and it's already time for everybody's favorite segment, the segment of the show where you have to be following Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram. We will put up a post that says "Sound Off," and we want your input as to what we should talk about. And the first thing we got to do right off the bat is clarify a little something. So if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, Knox Levitt 1 responded to Sound Off on Threads, and I was annoyed that I have to log, because I deleted Threads I don't even know how long ago, because I recognized it was useless. But unless you change a setting, Instagram continues to repost everything that you post to Threads. So Knox Levitt responded to the Sound Off on Threads, and I said that I'm annoyed that Instagram does that. Respond on Instagram. I don't even look at Threads, so that's just be sure you're responding to the original post. Knox Levitt, I guess, misunderstood or didn't listen to the whole segment or whatever. So now I am complaining about you, Knox. I can tell everyone he posted this on today's Sound Off. I can tell everyone here that Dave was upset I posted on Instagram. Go to their Facebook group. This is a complete and utter misunderstanding of the entire situation. No, just don't reply on Threads. We want you to reply on Instagram, because that's the whole point. Look, here's full transparency. The whole point of Sound Off is to get engagement on social media. Now, we do think it's a lot of fun to get your input on what we talk about, and it is our favorite segment of the show. But the reason I came up with Sound Off was, okay, this will get people engaged with our posts on social media, which will do the thing with the algorithm, which will that and that and that. And I hate having to think that way, but it's the only way to grow, is to try and think about stuff like that. No, we do want you to reply on Instagram. The Facebook group, if you're in the Audible Army Facebook group, we love that. We have fun in there. But when I post the Sound Off in the Facebook group, I turn comments off, because that doesn't do us any good for engagement. I want you to go to Instagram to reply. So just to clarify that. And Knox, you reply wherever you want to reply. We want the engagement. But I will tell you, if you reply on Threads, there's a possibility I will not even see it. So just be sure you're replying on Instagram. So that's our first Sound Off, which is, whatever. Xer Borges X. What do you guys think of the retro line? I don't really find any appeal for the card backs. I haven't really enjoyed the art. I think they should all just be mainline. So there are several ways to approach this. As far as the card backs, no, I think we can all agree that in the retro card back line, which is funny because that's the name of the line, but there's really not a lot of appeal in the card backs. It's not like Super 7 stuff where they're recreating the original card back. They have artists doing the new art, and to revisit something that we've talked about on the show, yes, all of those card backs from Super 7 are original art from original artists. It's not AI. That's all been explained and debunked and whatever else. Now, whether or not you like the art is a different story. But to me, the Super 7 like Reaction Plus stuff is still like Reaction, where you're buying this cool little piece of art. If you want to open it, cool. But as a packaged product, it's worth keeping. Whereas the retro card back Joes, I don't care about the packaging because it just kind of comes across as low effort and soulless.
And it doesn't have to be that way, because I mean, when we first got them, it was on that really thin cardboard, and yes, they beefed it up and we got higher quality backing now, but they still like what Super 7 does with this nice white border around here. Like, there's so much attention to detail to make this feel like it's a retro figure, even though this is a brand new version of this, this toy. They could, like, Hasbro could spend like very little money and effort to go and do that, and they don't. And I don't understand why. But I mean, I like that we're getting different figures, and
that's the key. Is it's not about the card back. It's about two things. One, it is advantageous for any toy line to have multiple SKUs available to retail. That's something that's been talked about. Again, I direct everybody to galactichunter.com and 16bit.com. Adam Paulus is somebody who's been dealing with the toy industry for 30 plus years now. He has so many incredible insights as to why things are the way they are with the toy lines that we collect. His focus is Star Wars, but his lessons apply to everything. And it is advantageous for any line to have multiple main SKUs like that. So when Target is looking at G.I. Joe Classified, if they have a mainline offering, I apologize, Buddy is losing his mind upstairs. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not.
He found out Santa's coming.
He's very excited. No, actually, he's furious that we can't find a sweater to fit him because he's so freaking long. If you're following Phantom Troublemaker on Instagram, you've seen my floating Buddy pics. He is a very long dog. But anyway, so to have the retro cardback SKU and the regular mainline SKU, and then of course the pets and the 2-packs and whatever else, but to have those two primary SKUs is a big deal because it guarantees that amount of space for the line, gives it more visibility at retail. So regardless of what you think of the retro cardbacks, it is important to the health of the G.I. Joe Classified brand to have that extra SKU. And then beyond that, it's the opportunity for them to go back and redo figures because that's mostly what they've been using it for. Now, some have been redone more extravagantly than others. Obviously, Retro Cardback Duke and Scarlet are standouts as ones that they really revisited the concept and delivered what we wanted. But it's also good for things as simple as repaints. And I find, for the most part, I like once I get the retro cardback version, it replaces the older mainline classified version. I've seen that the Vipers, the Bats, Dr. Mindbender. Yeah, Snow Serpent.
I waited on the Snow Serpent because I didn't need the $35 Snow Serpent. I was happy with with the retro.
The only thing I want to add to that, though, only because you said Mindbender, And as part of the Black Friday sale on Hasbro Pulse, I finally got my retro cardback Mindbender. And Hasbro, please release figures in the same skin tone colors. Because if I have a janky face on the retro one and my classified one is great, I should be able to combine the two.
Yeah,
And
that is an issue.
one is, and I after noticing
they are
that, I
very
went back and started looking at the other figures, and I'm like, oh yeah, they are all different from their classified counterparts.
I think it's difficult because every toy company has the same issue with skin tone in that way. To the point where Mattel is currently in the process of updating almost every Hulk Hogan figure they've ever made, because there's something about the formula for that hot dog tan that eluded them for years. And now they seem to have nailed it. So they're going back and re-releasing all these Hogan figures. Skin tone seems to be a challenge in general. But I will, Kristian, I will ask you this. Isn't that retro aside, production errors aside, isn't that retro cardback Mindbender surprisingly better than the other one?
Yeah, I honestly thought, like, I am gonna just pop the shoulders, and put on the classified one. And as I started playing around with him, I was like, oh no, I like this. And he, other than having him pulled, because I knew I wanted to talk about him tonight, it has a front spot on my shelf.
I was very, I ordered it because I knew I wanted that Cobra emblem on the cape. But then once I got him, well, my review's on the Needless Things YouTube channel. You can check it out. But once I got him, I was like, I'm shocked at how much more I like this one, even though the differences are so small. And that's been the case with some of the retro cardbacks.
I keep seeing them at Walmart's. And I thought about picking him up when he was on sale on Pulse. But I just, I've got mine up there, so I don't really need a second Mindbender. Because there's not that much difference.
You don't care what his back looks like anyway.
Right.
True.
It has always bothered me. That is why I have never, I think I only have one photo that I've taken that used a Mindbender in it. And he's in the background. And it's because I just know there's those stained shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's the other problem. But the main answer to this is because it's important for classified to have those two separate SKUs. That's the main answer.
Well, and it is also healthy, and this sort of ties into, I want to bring up Jason.Electric 1.0 says Retro Baroness is my favorite. So these lines are also important because there are certain characters that you think of when you think of specific toy lines, right? Like main villains, main heroes. You need to have those characters available.
Yeah.
So having a retro line, part of the bonus is we get something that looks more authentic to its G1 look, but this is a chance to put out Duke again without just re-releasing classified Duke. You can convince everybody, well, you need to buy this Duke because he looks completely different. But for the people that are new, because nothing can kill a line faster than somebody that discovered, classified this year or last year and is like, oh, all of the most, popular main characters I can only get on the second market, and I don't want to pay those prices or whatever. So,
and I would say, we talked about the likelihood of a retro cardback Wild Bill, but I got to tell you, I think they need to get a retro cardback Baroness out first, like based on the Rattler Baroness. Mm-hmm. I think they need to get to work on that because, I mean, she's, as we've talked about for years on the show, she's one of the most critical characters in G.I. Joe. And you want her, I mean, honestly, I would say you want her on pegs once a year, but clearly we're in a different kind of cycle. The toy world is different now. But real quick, before we move too far away from wrestling, I want to talk about something from the Needless Things feed. You can catch it on the YouTube channel or wherever you get your podcasts. I just did an interview with Jonathan Davenport, who is a graphic artist who designs wrestling. Well, he does lots of things, but one of the things he does is he designs wrestling gear. He has designed gear for Bailey, Johnny Gargano, Ricochet, and you will most likely know him as the designer for New Day's gear. Some of the most iconic gear you've in the history of wrestling. Had a fantastic conversation with Jonathan. Everybody, please check it out. He will be appearing on Audible Interlude soon. He will be appearing again on the Needless Things podcast soon. He is a great, great guy. Follow Davenpoe, Davenpoe on Instagram to check out all of his designs and the stuff that he's getting up to. Just could not have been a nicer, cooler guy, and has had a hand, again, like I said, to go back to wrestling, has had a hand in the face of professional wrestling for the past almost decade, I believe. So check that interview out. It was awesome, but you'll be hearing more from him soon. All right, next up, Sneezy the Squid, our pal Gary from the Dragon Con American Sci-Fi Classics track. Oh, throw up Starfighter.
Yep. Starfighter says, I watched a video on Cody Rhodes in his rare Masters of the Universe collection yesterday. Of course, his wife hates it. That would be an ex-wife in my house, but
yes, Cody is a huge Masters fan, and that's one of the things we talk about in the episode is the fact that Jonathan designed Cody's gear for Survivor Series. If you saw that, and Cody's team reached out to him because they were such big fans of his work, and you can hear all about that on that episode of the Needless Things podcast, so check it out. All right, Sneezy the Squid, who is the best Joe? And Gary always gives us these really fun thought exercises, and I appreciate him for that. Who is the best Joe and Cobra to get as your Secret Santa, to get as your person to buy for, and who are the worst? Cobra. Fa la 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 la.
I'm very sad I did not think of Cobra fa la 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 before.
I feel like I've seen it before, but it's wonderful.
Surprisingly, that was going to be my intern thing. That I'm the Cobra intern who tricked the Royal Guards into saying Cobra la 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 la, and then I saw that and was like, "Oh man!" But hey, Gary, great minds. Great.
Well, and I realized reading this, I did not do both sides of the exercise. I only did the Secret Santa as in the receiving. I didn't do the side of the exercise of the giving, but I think that's okay because we'll see. So Kristian, did you get an opportunity to give this some thought?
All right. So as far as Secret Santa who is buying for you, on the Cobra side, hands down, it's Baroness, because she is all about excess. She's going to buy you. She's going to steal you something fun. Like you're going to get like a Lamborghini. Solid. It may not be registered to you, but you're going to get it. And
she's going to want it to be the best thing you get because she's going to want to be acknowledged as
exactly.
That's great.
She wants that attention. The worst is Raptor because he's an accountant. He's going to buy you bonds that like don't appreciate for 50 years, and nobody wants bonds for Christmas. Okay,
I don't even know if it's going to be that. With Raptor, I would think he's going to give you like a dream catcher made from his bird's feathers.
Still, I
don't even know if you'll get bonds.
I was just thinking from the pure analytical mind of an accountant.
Yeah.
But either way, he is a terrible gift giver.
Terrible. Yes.
All right. On the Joe side, and I'm thinking in terms of me, Sci-Fi is going to be the best gift giver because he goes to conventions and fun things, and he's going to be like, oh, yeah, you actually need like a kidney, but look at this awesome action figure that I bought you that I know you've been wanting. That's what I want. And the worst is Snow Job, because he's going to be the person that buys you the gag gift.
Wait,
oh, you have size 7 feet. I bought you baby booties. Ha 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 ha.
Put up Yorktown Joe's Raptor comment.
Raptor's giving you an extra pack of saltines from his order of Wendy's chili. Oh my God, that is great.
We don't have a no prize here at Audible Interlude, but if we did, Yorktown Joe would get it tonight.
Okay.
Oh, Kristian, I'm sorry. I totally, that destroyed my mind for a second. I'm sorry.
To buy 4 on the Cobra side, Xandar, because he's so ignored. You could give him anything, and he's just appreciated to be seen. And on the Joe side, it's going to be Thunder, because he likes loud things. He's the sort of person that you could walk into Walmart and buy, like, now that's what I call metal, volume 32, and he's going to love it. So, easy.
So I only went with receiving, and I went with the best Joe to get something from, I think, would be Mainframe. And here's why. Think back, if you're of our age, think back to your childhood, and one of the coolest gifts you would get, whether it was the weird variant Shockwave or a, like, build your own radio kit, I always loved the, like, weird gift from Radio Shack. And Mainframe would be the guy to get you that weird thing from Radio Shack. So I would love for him to be my Secret Santa. And then from Cobra, I picked Headman for obvious reasons.
Party favors. That's what he's going to give you.
Well, our Reverend Scott agrees with you on one of those, because he said Mainframe got that 5 terabyte media player hookup for you.
That's right. Here's what Mainframe, because I'm thinking back in the day, but 2025 Mainframe is going to get you like a Zune clone with 5 terabytes of space, which is the best thing. Because I'll tell you right now, way before James Gunn made him known, I was a Zune guy. Noel, you can verify this.
Oh yeah,
Zune was it, and I was heartbroken when my Zune freaking went out. I've still never recovered. All right.
Wait, so Tom Dodd Henry says that's the most self-employed comment I've ever heard.
So going to the worst Joe would be, and when I wrote this, I was confident somebody else would pick it, because to me it's so obvious, is Airtight, because he's going to give you some stupid gag gift,
a plastic dinosaur,
right? It's
from his personal collection,
right? And then the worst Cobra to receive from would obviously be the Toxo Viper, because they're going to give you some disease.
Yeah.
All right, Noel, what do you got for this one?
All right. So I have my best to receive from. On the Joe side, it's going to be Shipwreck, because he's just going to bring rum. And everybody knows that's what we all want for our gift.
Sure.
For Destro, same thinking as Kristian. He's going to bring the most luxurious, expensive gift that you could possibly imagine. Possibly even bring you some, like, prototype Mars weaponry that, he's not going to use. For the worst to receive from, it's going to be Sergeant Slaughter, because his gift is he's going to come to your house at 0400 and wake you up to do PT.
Okay, wait. I have to comment on that, because he popped into my head because I thought Sergeant Slaughter is going to give you 100 push-ups. But if you've met Sergeant Slaughter, if like you have a positive interaction, he says no push-ups for you, which is what's on my autographed Sergeant Slaughter picture from like 1999 or whatever it is. I was like, oh, I can't put that on him because he's cool. I can't put that on him, but that's still an excellent.
I think in-universe Slaughter might be more this Slaughter. Worst Cobra to get a gift from. I actually have a tie. Major Blood, because he's just going to write you a bad poem.
Oh, gosh, you're right.
Tomax and or Zaymot, because they're just going to give you some leftover extensive enterprise like corporate swag.
Here's the stress ball.
Right. An extensive enterprise like measuring tape or something.
For the best to give gifts to, the best one you can draw is Junkyard. Technically, he's in our pool too, because you just buy him a dog toy. But you know what? If you draw Mutt, you could probably just get him a dog toy. He'd be happy. The best Cobra or Cobra-related person is any of the Dreadnoks, because they'll just take grape soda and donuts. That's all you got to give them.
That's good. That's good.
Easy gifts. For the worst to give on the Joe side, it's the fridge, because what do you give a guy who already has a Super Bowl ring? And you know what? Same thing with Cobra, the Baroness, because nothing you could ever buy would ever please her.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good call. Okay, so real quick, because it's in my head and I want to fulfill the obligation here. I think the best Joe to give to would be Snake Eyes, because he'll appreciate anything, because his life has been so horrible. Literally anything you give him. You could give him a coupon for a free hug and he would be thrilled. The best Cobra to give to, I think I'm going to go with, only because we've recently learned of his horrible, horrible demise, would be Thrasher. Because if you look at Thrasher's biography, sort of similar to Snake Eyes, like he just feels like he's this rich, spoiled kid, but he feels like he's just not good enough for anything. So I think Thrasher would also be very easy to make feel appreciated. All he wanted to be was a Dreadnought, which is like the lowest of the low, and it made him happy. So I think Thrasher would be very easy to buy for. The worst to buy for, I'm just gonna jump on with Noel, because that was such a good pick. I can't even dispute it, as Baroness. Like, there's literally nothing you could give her that would make her happy at all. And then the worst Joe to buy for, would be Sergeant Slaughter, because no matter what, he's going to yell at you. All right.
The chat has loved this one as well. So
yeah, bring it. What do we got in the chat?
Stuck out to me. Nowhere Man Child said, Ozone will give you a letter made of recycled paper saying a star has been named in your honor.
Hold on now. I've given that as a gift before.
Me personally, I don't think that's a bad gift. So I think that one goes either way, because some people will.
The donation has been made in your name to the Human Fund.
Yeah.
Money for people.
You know what? Wait, stop. Yep. Hang on, real quick. Do you know what truly the best gift would be? A donation has been made in your name to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. What a gift that would be. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, Brian Hoffman chimes in with Blowtorch because he wants a pork chop sandwich, but there's no guarantee you'll get one. Also, Nowhere Manchild, because this one took me a moment to get some chia heads in mason jars for Gung Ho and Leatherneck. And Reverend Scott says Bazooka would like anything, I think, and based off of last week's episode, I would agree, especially ice cream bars or fudgy bars specifically.
if you got Junkyard and then at last minute got switched to Bazooka, I don't think it would matter. Squeaky. All right, moving on. Yorktown Joe. Looking ahead, are you more excited for Classified or the various producers of the O-Ring resurgence? Thanks for keeping the fun going. Okay, so this one actually hurt my brain a little bit because we're going to have to talk about it because I don't know. Traditionally, my answer would have been I'm more excited for smaller scales because as much as I've got this giant collection of Classified behind me, I always have felt that G.I. Joe needs vehicles. However, nobody's making vehicles. Now, Delta 17, we do know, is making the Chinook helicopter at some point. But it's not like we're getting even one vehicle a year. Like, it's just not in the current economy. It just, you can't. So it's not like either scale is really getting vehicles like I want it to. I mean, if anything, Classified is getting way more vehicles than any of these lines. This is a tough one. What do you guys think? I don't know that I have an easy answer for this.
For me, so historically, I have been more like excited for Classified. We're starting to get to the point in the line where, first of all, the prices are going up. There's fewer characters that they're being released that I want or need in my collection. I mean, honestly, most of those characters that I really wanted when this line began have been released now, because really, I mainly want those 82 to 87 figures, and most of the ones that I want that were on my wish list, I've got or have been announced. So I can see myself buying less and less of those. Obviously, there's vehicles, but they're going to be enormous, and I'm running out of room for those. I'm really like, this is what I'm currently most excited about. Is the Reaction Plus, and I've got the Operation Recall stuff that's about to ship. I'm looking forward to getting those in hand. I've ordered some of the Lady J toys figures as well. So, like, I love the fact that I can put those on the shelf amongst my other like 3 3/4 inch Joe figures, and they kind of blend in. I can kind of like put them in as Easter eggs in places, and they don't take up as much space. And who knows, Super 7 may wind up getting the go ahead to do some vehicles here in the future, because they've done them in regular Reaction, at least one, and they were going to do a much bigger one in regular Reaction at one point, but that Kickstarter did not work out for them.
Yeah.
So who knows what we'll see. I don't think it's out of the question that within the next 6 months to a year we get an announcement of like something like Saturn's van or one of the wacky vehicles from one of the miniseries.
I think at the end of the day, for me, it's not necessarily that one is more exciting. It's just different. Like Classified, I'm excited because I want to see what they do with these designs that I've known my whole life, like these characters that I've known my whole life. So I'm excited to see how they interpret them and what they release. But then with the O-Ring stuff, it's exciting because this is the format that is closest to my childhood. And it's exciting to see these new characters and these new things in this format. And with in case of Super 7, like, I guess we're nailing it down to one thing. Yes, Super 7 Reaction Plus would be most exciting, except now they're $25 a piece. And
Yep.
It's just I can't honestly say one or the other.
So I'm still sticking with I'm most excited for Classified. And I struggled with this one today because absolutely there are pros and cons for each. There's a lot with the resurgence of O-Ring from all these new companies that are doing new, their own IP, and that's awesome. And I have loved every single piece that I have purchased. With that being said, though, thanks to this podcast, there are whole other eras of G.I. Joe that I've now become exposed to that I still think, gosh, I can't wait to see that in Classified.
Yeah.
And even for the people who came later in G.I. Joe, like I'm trying to think, because I don't want this to sound harsh. Like what Noel was saying, he the eras that he really loved, the characters that spoke to him the most, it's kind of fulfilled, or 90% fulfilled, right? I start thinking of, man, yeah, prices are going up, but let's ignore that for a moment. If we got a deluxe classified aerial attack bat from G.I. Joe Sigma 6 in the line, I would lose my beep. I think of characters like Dart, or the Valor versus Venom Ripper, and
Dude,
I know
Scalpel.
this is Scalpel
and the Cobra Medic, like,
and this is going to sound silly, but again,
Bomb
you
Strike.
guys should know by now, I love some of the sillier concepts, but I want a bullhorn in this line. I want them to start giving us some of these figures from I'm still excited to see that in Classified. And I think that's why I'm still leaning more towards Classified, because with these independent companies, we are going to get their IP, but we're not going to get these characters. And no matter what, let's say Classified goes on for another 5 years, right? If I don't walk away with an eagle eye, some form or version of an Eagle Eye Joe, or an adventure team recognition in the Classified line, I am going to feel like the line is not complete. I'm going to feel disappointed, because it needs to be, I'm excited for it to be more than just a Real American Hero line.
So, to address a couple of things that you said, one, the various producers of the O-Ring Resurgence, unfortunately, one of the factors that is unavoidable is production time. Most of these Kickstarters have been around for 4 years and have undelivered product. And I'm willing to wait. I'm happy for them to make sure the product, just like we were talking about with Call Sign Longbow earlier, make that product great. However, you just can't avoid the fact that the production times, the run times are so far out that it's hard to maintain enthusiasm or inertia, whatever. It's hard to maintain momentum for those. Whereas with Classified, what's next month? What's the month after that? What's 6 months from now? Like, we know to an extent that they're going to keep delivering product at this regular cycle, and that there may be Adventure Team, and there may be an Invader. Who knows? Who knows what's coming? Although I will say this, Fresh Monkey Fiction had a heck of a teaser last week about potential, look, I'll just say this, Adventure Force LFG.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Like Mike Vegeta says, what do you think of the new Big Bad Workshop Adventure Team style figure line revealed in Toy Figure Magazine?
Exactly what I was just talking about.
That gets me excited, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I love my I know they had to change the name, but the Super Joes, the White Elephant Toys was putting out. I still want to see these characters in Classified. It doesn't change anything. So I'm thoroughly thrilled to get what Big Bad Workshop does, but I still want to. Oh, go ahead.
if in the next two, because obviously whatever Fresh Monkey Fiction was teasing, because it was essentially that the most recent example of what they were teasing was Diamond Select did a Joe Colton statue of him fighting this giant snake. And that's essentially what Fresh Monkey Fiction was teasing. However, the earliest we're going to see that is like 2028, right? So if Fresh Monkey Fiction beats Hasbro to the punch, I know, and I love Classified, right? But I know Fresh Monkey Fiction's release is going to be better than anything Hasbro could ever release. So I don't know that I need that Joe Colton versus Giant Snake if Hasbro decides to do it after I already have the Fresh Monkey Fiction version. There's so many variables here, it's just tough to say.
Absolutely.
All right.
But great question.
Next. Yeah, great question. Next up, Silent Interlude. Ooh, maybe this has been covered in years past, but what was your best Joe Christmas? Mine was 1986 in childhood and probably 2007 or 2008 in adulthood when my wife sourced an entire 80s collection from a coworker's son. Joe, Star Wars, Mask, and Indiana Jones. It was fantastic. All right, first of all, Silent Interlude. We all recognize your little humble brag about your cool wife. Good for you. And I'll just say 1985 when I got the flag. I mean, well, got the flag and other stuff. That's top. That's peak. That's peak Christmas for me. For other reasons as well, but we do not discuss the nature of Santa Claus on this show.
So for me, I had to really think on this one as well because there are Christmas wasn't as big of a G.I. Joe time for us. Christmas was usually bigger on Star Wars and Masters of the Universe because Christmas was for big box purchases.
Okay.
So it was like, Castle Grayskull, X-Wing fighter, stuff like that. So I was trying to jar back the memories of when we got our Dragonfly, when we got our Sky Striker, and I actually kept going back to 1985. And it wasn't that it was a big Joe year. It was what I got that year. Because in our family, Christmas Eve is when you got to open a gift that came from either, mom and dad, or in my case, my brothers, right? A family member.
Yeah. We do the same thing. We do.
Then Santa delivers.
You get to pick one wrapped present, which is going to be a family present on Christmas Eve.
Right. And so there are certain things that I wanted in 1985. And especially in my head, had already developed play patterns for getting these figures. So on Christmas Eve night, I unwrapped the Droids action figure Jan Tosh, which at the time was my absolute favorite Star Wars character. And why am I mentioning him? Because on Christmas Day, I got his, at the time for my play pattern,
I'm sorry. I've just looked this figure up and wow.
It's early Kenner Star Wars. It's not, you're not buying it for the figure, but his presence in the droid cartoon, I thought he was the second coming of Han Solo.
Well, I mean, he was. That was his intent.
And who in G.I. Joe is also Han Solo in Young Legion Cub's eyes, but Christmas Day opening up Shipwreck.
Yeah.
And getting those two characters, like Shipwreck Christmas, hands down, best G.I. Joe.
Nice. Mine I want to say it was the first year I ever got G.I. Joe for Christmas, which was '82, and I got Zap, Flash, a Cobra Officer, and a Vamp. But when I just think of like the wind, like my biggest windfall year for G.I. Joe, I never got a flag. I never got a terror drone. Biggest thing I ever got was the tactical battle platform. But in '86, my grandmother decided to go over the top and spoil me that year because I got the Night Raven, the Tomahawk, the Conquest, the Triple T, and the Thunder Machine from her. Like,
Ooh,
that was like, yeah, and I'm pretty sure my parents were like, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah, right. There must have been some kind of dispute between her and your parents that year. Like that, because I think back to my own childhood and I can almost track times where Granny was trying to show up my parents.
Mhm.
That's great. And yeah, you bring up a good point because 82 was like, obviously the flag is this crazy milestone of like, wow, Christmas accomplishment. But you're right, 82, when I look at those pictures, because I've still got them, and I'll if I can find the bandwidth, I'll throw them up on Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram. I've got all the pictures from 82 of all the Joe stuff that I got, because that was the year my dad invested, where he was like, whoa, this is Army stuff. I'm into this. So 82 was, you're right. That was also a banner year.
I want to
Great
throw
question.
up Kevin Riddle says, I don't remember the year, but when I got my whale.
Dude, that is one of my most specific G.I. Joe memories. And I've talked about this on the show before, but we were visiting my grandparents in Wilmington, North Carolina. One of the regular stops we made, because my papa would take me around toy shopping every time we went up there. He would take me to all the spots. And for whatever reason, my parents were with us this time, like all of us, Granny, Papa, my mom and dad, and me, all went to Service Merchandise. And Service Merchandise, if like it, people generally remember it as you look at a picture of something, you take it to this thing and say, hey, I want this, and they bring it out to you. But the Service Merchandise in Wilmington actually had like a toy section, and it was in, if you think of like a Walmart now, so you've got the Walmart, the store proper, and then you've got the garden section, right? Where it's like an extension of the Walmart. Well, this Service Merchandise in Wilmington, the toy section was out there. So we went out there and they had the whale. And I knew I wanted it before we even got there. Like, I was aware of the whale. And the fact that they had it was crazy to me. So we were there and I was like, I have to have this. I have to get this whale in Wilmington, North Carolina from Service Merchandise. And I picked it up, and I don't remember, what do you guys know off the top of your head what the price of the whale was? It was probably like $20, right?
25.
25. Let's say it's $24.99, right? So I had $25. From whether it was Granny and Papa gave me money or my allowance or whatever it was, I had $25. So the whale's $24.99. So we go up to the register, and this is, so we go to the register. I'm like, I've got $25. This whale's $24.99. Awesome. Cool. Let's go. We get up to the register, and with tax, it comes up to $26.79 or whatever the price is. And my dad is like, oh, well, you don't have enough money. I'm like, what? Well, no. What do you mean? He's like, well, there's something called sales tax, and it gets added on to every purchase that you make. So you don't actually have enough money to buy this. So go put it back. And Dad was going to teach me a lesson. And Papa, who, there's probably all kinds of levels I could dig into with this, but I'm not going to do it here on Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. Papa said, Tommy, you're not going to do that to him. And he said, here, when we get home, you can, I can't remember what chore it was, but he said, when we get back to the house, you can do this, this, and this, and earn, $2 or whatever it was. We're going to go ahead and get this for you. So Dad was going to let me just not get that, and Papaw was, took care of business. So that is my memory of getting that whale.
I learned that because I knew 4 quarters would be enough to get me a new Matchbox or Hot Wheels car when I was very young, but it wasn't, because it was actually like $1.06 or $1.07.
Right. Yeah.
So this is another
right.
question that seemed to touch with our listeners. So Yorktown Joe, 1982 was good, but 1986 was special. Times were tight, and Mom still pulled off a tomahawk for me. It's a longer story, but a core memory.
That's awesome.
Nowhere Man Child says, in 1986, I got the Tomahawk and Havoc from Santa, then Night Raven and Stun from the family. So a great one for sure.
Nice.
Lastly, Reverend Scott with, I don't remember Joe Christmas as much as the year I got an Atari 2600. And Scott, I am so glad there are other people listening to this podcast that are old enough to remember getting an Atari 2600.
I didn't get an Atari 2600. I got a Sears Telegames, which was just a reskinned Atari 2600 with like differently named games.
So I also have an Atari 2600 story that doesn't paint Mongoose in the best light, but I'll save that for another time. Tom Henry. I just want to know why you all didn't talk at length about Lightfoot's appearance in A Real American Hero 322, hinting at a possible classified release. I know you've thought about the 200th best A Real American Hero figure. Where does Lightfoot rank for you? First, second, or third best figure? Hashtag obligatory useless hashtag. Hashtag Fang 2025. Hashtag Makey Dreams Come True, Lenny. Hashtag Tariff Watch 2025. So go ahead,
I
Kristian.
want to say, Tom, that I am guilty to admit that I am 2 issues behind. The last issue of Real American Hero that I read was the newest silent issue. So I do need to get caught up, because I know we're up to 323 now. But I'm even more excited now because I do love Lightfoot. And when we started doing the podcast and I decided to go back and start getting certain O-ring figures, the very first one I bought was Lightfoot. And when I however it is that I didn't hold on to my original Lightfoot, I actually throughout all these years did hold on to his little robot bomb sniffing thing.
It's so great. With
because
the little lenticular...
with the lenticular sticker, it got incorporated into my Star Wars collection. So in one of my moves, I was reminded, I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually Lightfoot's. What the?
So here is my question. If my memory serves, Tom Henry, were you not the one that asked the question about the memory of the Edmund Fitzgerald a few weeks ago? Of course, made famous in a song by Gordon Lightfoot. Is this all just some synergy?
Whoa.
Whoa. No,
am I remembering that right?
Inception.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Lightfoot. He was after I got my my haul from my pal Wilson, which I've talked about many times on the show, the briefcase of Joe's I got. Lightfoot was on the short list of like, oh, I got to get this guy because I really liked that figure when I was a kid. He was very late in the line, and I don't remember why I had him, because he was, what, 88?
Oh, gosh, I have to look it up real quick. But it was late. He was before the 90s, but definitely like
I think he was 88. It might have been 87, but I'm not positive. But I had Lightfoot when I was a kid, and I got to think it was from like a trade that I did with one of my buddies, because as I've talked about, the last 2 Joes I got were Hit and Run and Storm Shadow version 2. But anyway, I liked Lightfoot. He was on my short list of like, I got to have this guy. I rank him 147.
And we doubly can confirm, as Nowhere Man Child says, that he was indeed an 88 figure, and then had a Nightforce figure.
That's what I thought. Thank you, Brain. Every once in a while.
We got an answer. It was Yorktown Joe who brought up the Edmund Fitzgerald, not Tom Henry.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. You get somebody with a naval name is going to be that person. And that brings us to the last segment of the show, which apparently I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Joe and Tell, where each of us gets a little bit of time to talk about something G.I. Joe related that we may have gotten recently, or maybe just brings up a fond memory for us. Who wants to go first this time?
I can go.
All right, Noel.
Since yeah. I know some people have found some stuff at Ross lately. I've seen some good pickups there at the World of Ross, but I haven't had much luck. All I've seen as far as Joes go lately is that Marine sniper figure, which is a great looking figure. I just don't need it in my collection, even for $16.99. But I was at a Ross not too long ago, and man, I was very impressed because I had not seen this at the store, and I got a nice deal.
Oh, okay. Every time I've seen, okay, go ahead.
All right, I just had to play the music.
every time I've seen like a picture of that online, I've been like, man, I hope Kristian and Noel will get one of those.
Yeah, and so I got it for $15. I think the original retail was $30. This is by Culture Fly. It's not made by Hasbro, but it's of course obviously officially licensed. But it's a very nice little piece, nice like sturdy vinyl comes off of the stand there, so you can do your little open, damn it, do your Robert Stack impression if you like. But yeah, I was like, oh, that's great, and it displays so nicely down in my basement. So I'm very happy to pick this up. There's another one that came out that's a little bit bigger and it's got the light in it. But I mean, I'm happy with this. It's actually inspired me to think about potentially building a Galvatron costume so I can wear it around my neck on a big chain, but I don't think I'll ever go through with that. That's a lot of work.
Oh, I would love to see that. But yeah, that would be insane. Plus, you'd have to paint your face, purple or whatever.
So violet. You're looking violet.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go next because mine is a little lengthy. So this is about as G.I. Joe adjacent as we can get and still be anywhere near the realm of G.I. Joe. As mentioned, I went to Retro Toy Con a couple of weeks ago, which Noel was not at. And for the first toy convention in years, there were 2 sellers that had a ton of Battle Beasts. And I picked up some Battle Beasts, which, if you know, are directly Transformers related, which makes them G.I. Joe adjacent. So I'm just going to run through my pickups here. And just to kind of outline my requirements for Battle Beasts, I do like them to have the sticker. I don't care if they have the weapons, because all the Battle Beast weapons are so like, honestly, I'm sorry, Battle Beast fans, they're kind of lame. Who cares? It's all about the figures to me. So I got Antic Anteater.
Yes.
Bloodthirsty Bison, which I got home and found out I already have a Bloodthirsty Bison. So this one will be going in the sales bin. Diving Duckbill. Another thing worth pointing out here is that even the Battle Beasts that I had as a kid, I had no recollection of their names. So going to figurerealm.com to look up the names of these characters, and I got to tell you, a little disappointing. Not the best name in the history of toys. So Diving Duckbill. Killer Koala, who is
Yes.
a must-have. I think we've even talked before on the show about how disgusting koala bears are, and if not, koala bears are disgusting.
It's such a great name.
Pillager. Well, okay, wait. And we talked about crossovers earlier in the show. I would like a Battle Beasts WWE crossover where we get a Killer Koala ski figure.
Oh,
Sorry. Pillager Pig. Tarsier Tyrant, which I
I've
wasn't
never
even
seen
sure.
him.
I knew this was like a real animal creature type thing, but I didn't know what the heck it was called. Again, figurerealm.com is a great resource for this kinds of stuff. Triple Threat Snake, which I have to say is probably the worst name of any of the Battle Beasts because it's not even alliteration. They were just literally like, well, it has us 2 snake arms and a snake head, so it's a triple threat.
so
And
he's
I
just
hated that
King
the one
Hiss.
arm is twisted like the opposite direction of what
Right?
it should be.
Right? Like this
As a
arm
kid,
is so
it
off-putting.
yeah, it drove me crazy.
Yeah. And then finally, War Weasel,
Yeah.
which I did not recognize as a weasel, but just thought it looked really cool, so I bought it. I wish I had bought a bunch more, but it's just unusual to even see Battle Beasts at a toy show now.
There was a seller that on Sunday, yesterday at the Conyers show that had some. I should have.
But what I realized, here's the mistake I made. So, as I said, I do like them to have the sticker. Now, having said that, in my history of collecting Battle Beasts, I have never even attempted to use the rub off and find out what they are. And often they don't even, well, this guy's water. My anteater is water. But I realized the other day when I was kind of cleaning these guys up a little bit, I should buy just bottom dollar, no rub off Battle Beasts and just get some glossy black paint and just paint the little square because I don't care.
Well,
most of the Battle Beasts I have, I've never used the rub off.
So, if you do, listeners, purchase Battle Beasts that do not have the rub signs, Toy Hacks has got you covered. And they, yes, are actual rub signs. They used to have just straight up like, water, wood, fire. But a while back, they started doing the actual heat sensitive rub signs. So you can purchase them. Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
So now I probably just lost all the deals that I used to get on eBay for Battle Beast.
Well, and now I'm never going to see another Battle Beast at a convention again, so it doesn't matter. All right, Kristian, what you got?
All right. Well, we've mentioned FOMO a few times today, so this story kind of goes back to Noel and this year's Joe Fest. So there was a certain vehicle that Noel got a really good deal on, the Cobra Adder, because Noel was telling the story about how there is this one person in the fandom who goes around and buys every single adder that they can get their hands on. And it is a vehicle that I've always, like, in the back of my mind, I've been like, oh, I want to add that to the collection one day.
Same.
It was never like a major eBay search. It was one of those, I want to see it at the con kind of vehicles. But there's a person that I recently bought some loose figures from, the ones that came a day late from our last live stream. Anyway, when they messaged me, it was like, hey, I have these Cobra adders. I've got 2 busted ones, and I think this one is complete. Or you can take the 3 and make a complete one. Really, really good deal. And I was like, yes, I don't care. Name your price at this point because I have to buy this before this person Noel knows finds out that there is another Cobra adder
Nice.
in the wave. So I finally have one. It's, man, there's not much to it, but I think that's what makes me love it so much. It's this nice, simple, giant rocket vehicle. And I know we joke kinda, not really, about not needing more vehicles in classified, but that's so simple. I would take that. So yeah, thank you, Noel, for making me feel like, if I don't do this now, I will never get this opportunity to add it to my collection.
You had to add her to your collection.
Yes.
Oh, Noel put the FOMO on you. I really enjoy that. So this is wild. We had really no news this week, but thanks to the Audible Army, thanks to the folks really giving great input to Audible Interlude podcast on Instagram, we've almost hit 2 hours. We're going to hit 2 hours. This is unbelievable. This is what community does. This is what Joe Fandom does. And I just want to thank every single person watching this or listening to it for contributing, because this is how we do a show every week. I truly appreciate every single one of you. Check out Brett White and Pop Heist. Get yourself a killer Robo Joe t-shirt. Noel, tell us a little bit about The Finest.
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club raising money for our wonderful charity partner, Canines for Warriors. Check out thefinestcc.com or the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook for more details.
And Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
Our music is by Andy Sanford of electricminnowmusic.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Audible Interlude Podcast, and be sure to follow the Needless Things YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share. Our next live episode is December the 22nd. Put it on your calendar. Until then, yo, Joe.
La 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 la.
La 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 la.